Pop, 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 pop. Let's go, baby. The Geeks are back, and we're running through the main card from the bottom to the top. Picks and predictions, Geeks visions. We got some good old scraps going down. We are in Austin. It is a fight night. Calvin Kattar, Josh Emmett is the headliner. Let's get into it. First fight of the main card is Gregory Rodriguez versus Julian Marquez. This is great matchmaking. This is phenomenal matchmaking. Gregory Rodriguez is going to come out minus 190. Julian Marquez plus 155 as of right now. I like RoboCop in this matchup. I think that he's too big and too established and accomplished in the grappling department for Marquez to really dominate in a lot of positions that he's used to, like winning fights and getting in fights that he wins. Of course, Marquez is always liable to get that crazy knockout, and we have seen Gregory Rodriguez get chinned in the Contender Series, and then he had to go out and win a couple more fights to come back. But ever since that knockout in the Contender Series, he is a new man, and he is training at Sanford, and I know that his head is in the right spot. I know that he is grinding every single day with game guys like Ian Gary. The list goes on and on over there at Sanford. On the other hand, you got Julian Marquez. I know he's out there playing disc golf. Shout out to the disc golf world. Sling on. But I know that's not training, you know. He's also got a podcast with like Kendra Lust. So God only knows what's going on over there. So I mean, the guy's just got a lot of his toes dipped in a lot of different ponds. And I think that Gregory RoboCop Rodriguez is just going to be the more put together, well-rounded, gassed up fighter. And I think that he's definitely up for a late round finish. Give me Gregory RoboCop by round 2 knockout. Goosey, what do you got?
First, my breakdown for this one, and it's a word I don't use a lot, maybe ever. This fight is going to be a slobber knocker. All right, you got two big boys going in there looking to do damage. And in what is going to be back and forth, Gregory Rodriguez has more skills. But I think Marquez is the tougher dude. I think he's going to go in there and take the shots from Gregory Rodriguez. He has enough ground game that Rodriguez isn't just going to be able to take him down and lay on top. He's going to be making him work. And considering Marquez was scheduled for this date, Gregory Rodriguez is jumping in after Wellington Turman pulled out. I think if it comes down to cardio, Julian Marquez is going to have a little more in the tank. And I mean, we've seen Gregory Rodriguez start to gas out in the past. You know, he's got that big muscle frame. Those muscles eat a lot of oxygen, and there's going to be a little more adrenaline than normal. You know, there's going to be fans going nuts in Austin. I think Marquez is going to play up to the crowd a little bit. He's going to feed off of it, and he's going to be able to get that late round crazy finish, you know, because we've seen Rodriguez start to gas out. Even though he did knock out Jun Young Park in the second round, he was beginning to fade at a rapid pace. And I think in a fight that is pretty similar to that, Marquez is going to be able to eat a few more shots and give a few more shots with power back. And I see Marquez being able to outlast the skill deficit early and be able to out cardio him late. So give me Marquez in this one.
All right. Interesting take right there. Dano, what do you have?
What I got is Marquez had a lot of hype behind him, calling out some people not in the UFC. I think he was calling out Miley Cyrus, got a response back. Nothing came from it. And then he got hurt and just like the hype went away. And I haven't really heard from him since. Had to really look at the card to see who was fighting this weekend. But with that year off, I think it's going to hurt him. I think RoboCop is a bit slow, right? He's not one of those guys with lightning quick hands or like jumping knees, spinning stuff, but he's literally a threat everywhere. He's got really good takedown defense, and he's just like a problem. So I think it could turn into one of those fights where both of them are tired and they're just swinging for the fences. But in this fight, I'm going to side with RoboCop. I think he's dangerous, and I think he's legit. Give me RoboCop.
100p. This is going to be a great fight to open up the main card. Great matchmaking, like I said before. Let's move into the next bout. Another great fight. We got Damir Ismagulov, 23-1, coming out against Garam Kutaladze, 12-2. This guy trains with Hamzat. He's kind of the psychopathic guy that's always in there like slamming on Hamzat's chest and like hyping him up, and like he looks like he's good. Like if you watch a lot of Hamzat stuff, like you're like, who is that guy? And you like look him up and you're like, okay. And then you saw the Gamrot fight and you're like, okay. I mean, he's coming out. He's a slight underdog in this matchup, and that's because Damir Ismagulov is on the tear. I mean, 23-1, hasn't lost since 2015. His stand-up is just elite. I mean, this guy knows how to rhythm and vine. I mean, this guy wins decisions on decisions on decisions. I mean, you can look through his resume. It's just W decision all the way up and down. With that being said, Garam's going to come in there and try to make it a nasty fight. I mean, he's training with Hamzat. He's going to have that wrestling confidence. He's going to have that boost. He's going to come in there and really try to close the distance on Damir. Damir, though, lethal. I mean, might force him into a finish in this fight. With that being said, I think Garam's going to dog him out. I like the dog money in this, plus 135. This is going to be a scrap and a half. It's almost a coin flip fight at this point. I wouldn't be surprised if Damir stands him up and just pieces him for 3 rounds. I wouldn't be surprised if Garam takes him down and holds him down for 3 rounds. It's one of those. So at this point, give me the dog and give me that Hamzat energy. Let's go, Garam. Let's go, Dano.
So we got Damir, who's good everywhere with really good cardio. He's got wins over Joel Alvarez, who's a stud, and Thiago Moises, who's a stud. Even though he's very, very, very well-rounded, just a big red flag for me and just like the entertainment people is he's a decision machine. He's not really a finishing threat. And then you got Graham, who stepped up on short notice against Gamrot, looked crazy good. He's got legit power and speed and high-level professional kickboxing experience. So with that being said, I think he's going to be the far more dangerous and powerful striker, and he'll just be a problem in this fight. And I hope that people see the 23-1 record on Damir and put money on him, because Garam would be a great dog pick. I'm going with Garam.
Let's go. Goosey, what do you got?
We're going with the underdog sweep in this one because I am taking Garam Kutaladze. You mentioned it, and I agree with you. He's got more dog in him. You know, he goes in there and he's looking to do bad things to the guy he's fighting. And I don't really get that same vibe from Damir Ismagulov. He's going in there to win rounds and get the judges to tell him that he won the fight. Garam Kutaladze is going in there to make sure the judges don't tell him who won the fight. He goes in there, he throws mean kicks. He's throwing punches with bad intentions. And even when he gasses out, he's still going forward and he's still trying to do damage. I think Damir is going to have a little success wrestling, but Garam's been off a while. And like CEO said, we've seen him in videos grinding the grappling game. So he's been off for a while, but he had a hole in the grappling department. He's been working very hard at fixing that hole. So I think we come out, we see him able to keep it on the feet, and he's going to begin to eat that front leg up, beat it up with kicks, and then eventually be able to just grind out Damir. I know in the last fight, Damir won the first 2 rounds and then kind of got on his bike and just tried to survive the 3rd round. Garam really isn't going to give him that option. I think he's going to go in there, put it on him, and get a win at dog money. So give me Garam Kutaladze in this one.
Let's go. Underdog sweep. Let it be. Let it happen. Fight world. Let's go. We're moving into the next boot. Another great fight. We got Joakim Buckley, 14-4, coming out against Albert Doreev, 15-3. Initial thoughts. Doreev is flexing with a Mercedes in his Tapology photo. So, I mean, a lot of confidence off rip for a guy that his only win in the UFC is to a guy that does not have a win in the UFC. So, therefore, this guy's still not, established. He's not proven in my eyes. You look back at some tape, he gets tired. He's been hit with shots. I mean, I don't see like all green lights with like some people do with this guy. Some people think of him as like the next coming, like the stallion, because of his performances performance on the Contender Series and whatnot. But Joakim Buckley is an athlete and a half, and this guy is a fight vet. I mean, like it or not, 14-4. This guy has 5 past Bellator fights and 6 past UFC fights. I mean, this guy's been in the octagon. This guy's seen some shit, and this guy's got the tank. I mean, he's come out. He's had this hype train recently. It was like this weird thing with the Detroit guy. It was funny. He only gets hit with like he only gets knocked out by like crazy shit. I mean, he got hit by like Kevin Holland with like a crazy cross that Kevin Holland replays every single freaking day on Instagram because it's awesome. And then Jacherico hit him with like some crazy knee. They're like freak knockouts. I mean, I don't think Doreev's open for that kind of knockout in this fight. I think that plus 170 looks really nice. So I'm taking Joakim Buckley at underdog money. Back-to-back dogs for the kid. Let's go. Goosey, what do you got?
Yeah, you're going back to back. I'm going back to back to back dogs in this one because Albert Doreev, he's got a little bit of chin issues, and we saw it even in his last fight. He did get the win, but he was getting rocked, wobbled. I think his eye started swelling up. He might have broke his orbital. And if you're having orbital issues, chin wobbles, there aren't too many worse matchups at 185 than Joakim Buckley. I think he's got a lot of power. He's very athletic. And the grappling's getting better to the point that I think he's going to be able to stuff some takedowns early and put that shot on him. And Joakim Buckley, first round KO. I mean, that's when I'm looking ahead to this fight, that's what I'm seeing, just because he does have the pop. He's throwing crazy stuff. And Albert Doreev, he doesn't have that elite level experience like Buckley has. He's been fighting Bellator, UFC, like you mentioned. So I think the vet at underdog money with more power, Joakim Buckley's looking good for me. So I'm going to take him in this one.
Yeah, and I'm not here to like super knock Albert Doreev, and I'm sure you aren't either, Goosey, but like, he does come out like an animal in these first couple of seconds of this fight. So I mean, just it's gonna be crazy for this first 30 seconds. But like we said, our guy Joakim's no stranger to those crazy 30-second openers. So Dano, what do you got?
He is a favorite for a reason too. Like he's good. He's good.
But let's get past the first 30 seconds and then let's pan this one out. Dano, what do you got?
Doreev, very consistent and dominant wrestler. He's one of those guys that'll just keep going takedown after takedown after takedown. He'll chain wrestle, but all his losses are from knockouts. And you go down his resume, look at the regional scene. He got knocked out by Ramazan Ameev in the first round, who we saw last week. Didn't look too good on the feet. So I can't imagine he looked even too much better in years past. I think the athleticism from Buckley's really going to shine in this one. And Buckley isn't even afraid to go to the ground himself. In his last fight, he had 5 takedowns. And if you're going if you don't think you know who Buckley is, I'm sure you've seen one of his clips. I'm a big Impa fan, but roll the Impa clip. Insert that.
Finish him. So even on total strikes.
That is real life ninja stuff.
Fatality.
And then, but just the athleticism from Buckley, the power from Buckley, all Doreev's knockout or losses have been from knockouts. So that's kind of a red flag there. Buckley's a knockout machine. Underdog money. You guys have said the rest. I like Buckley. Let's ride with him.
Let's go. Another banger. We're moving right into the next one. We got Tim Means, 32-12, coming out against Kevin Holland, 22-7. Kevin Holland, he's a welterweight now. He's taking this shit seriously. He is really watching his weight. He has hands like we still knew him to have at 185. I mean, this guy is going to sleep Tim Means, and I am very confident in saying that. I mean, Tim Means tries to be this old self that, he is this gritty, like, clinch warrior, stiff jab, but this is just not the fight, man. I mean, Kevin Holland is just another tier striker, and his grappling's been coming along. He's going to have such a big athletic gap in this fight. Kevin Holland's going to spark him at some point. I want to say what round, but I just don't know, because Tim Means is a dog and he will eat some punches, but there's only so much you can take, and Kevin Holland's going to hit that chin. So, parlay piece for sure. Give me Kevin Holland. I think he's minus 250. I think that's valuable. As of now, I think it's going to be like minus 500 by the time the fight starts. So, Dano, what do you got?
I like Kevin Holland too, especially down at welterweight. When he was up at middleweight, he was a little more of a liability on the ground, but now that he's down with smaller guys, less heavy guys, I don't think the grappling is going to be too big of a problem. If you want a good laugh, even though we were just all over Buckley, go look at his knockout over Buckley. He was kind of talking shit to him and then popped him with the 2, mouthpiece flies out. Kevin Holland's a dude, and he's scary, and he's good on the feet. Like, if it stays on the feet, he's going to make him pay. Tim Means is durable, the dirty bird. So he'll get in there, be scrappy. But I think this fight, Kevin Holland's got to make a statement here. He had a lot of hype, took a few L's. He needs a nice dub, needs a knockout, preferably. I'm going to ride Kevin Holland knockout.
Let's go. Goosey, what do you got?
You got a sweep. I am taking Kevin Holland. Tim Means, he is that throwback fighter. He's a grinder in there. He's got respect for the game. He doesn't have a lot of athleticism, but he does have a lot of grit. Kevin Holland is not that. He's going to go out there, show off the athleticism, piece you up, and he's going to let you know it while he's doing it. He's got better striking. He might not have the wrestling, but his wrestling's been getting a lot better. And I don't hate Kevin Holland's submission, to be honest. I know it's kind of probably not the most popular pick, but I really could see Tim Means shooting some sloppy takedowns while he's rocked in this one, and Kevin Holland snatching that neck up. Either way, I'm going to pick Trailblazer, Kevin Holland, to get it done. I follow him on Instagram. He said he's been playing a lot of pickup hoops. The cardio is going to be on point. The weight's good. He's confident. Kevin Holland, and he's going to look good.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think Kevin Holland is a lock inside the distance. So let's move into the next one. We got another Legends boot stepping into the stage here. We got Donald Cerrone versus Joe Lauzon. The odds on this one, I mean, I feel like we've already broken this one down. It's plus 137 Joe Lauzon. It's actually creeping down as we speak, because it was just plus 140 earlier, about an hour ago. Cerrone is minus 170. I like Joe Lauzon in this fight, man. I think that he comes out and puts Donald Cerrone away. I think that Donald Cerrone is off of 5 L's and a draw. Hasn't had a W in I can't even tell you how long. I don't think that Joe Lauzon is that can that everyone thinks he is. I think that him at dog money is a great value. After all the interviews and everything that's come out about Donald Cerrone recently, do you really feel confident putting money on Donald Cerrone at minus 170? A guy that's already come out and said that there's nights where he just doesn't want to be there. I mean, this is another big stage co-main event. I'm not putting minus 170 on the Cowboy. I like Joe to have a lot of energy. He's been pushing for this fight. Donald's been pushing it back. It's like he's ducking him, but he's no way out. Give me Joe Lauzon plus 137 before this becomes an even money fight. Let's go, Goosey.
Yeah, I've already taken 3 dogs on this main card. Let's make it another. I'm taking Joe Lauzon. And it's just because I know what I'm going to get from him. I don't know what I'm going to get from Cowboy. Like you mentioned, he said he doesn't want to be there some nights. I know he's going to be doubting himself in this one. The last time he fought in front of fans, different tier than Joe Lauzon. It was Conor McGregor, but he had a horrible performance. Got on the mic after and said, "I didn't really want to be here tonight." You know, the pressure was getting to him. He's been fighting in the Apex, hasn't really had success, and now we're putting him back in front of fans. And he's been fighting at welterweight. He's definitely not the biggest welterweight, but he's not a small lightweight. And making that cut twice in, is it a month, maybe a month and a half? I think that's going to be tough on his body. He's old. Give me Joe Lauzon in this one just to go out there and grind it out. You know, he might lose the first round, but I think he's going to get it done. The wrestling is good. The striking's good. And if he goes out and performs what he's capable of, I don't know what I'm going to get from Cowboy. So I'm going to pick Joe Lauzon in this one.
Yeah, 100%. It's going to be a huge public pick. And Joe Lauzon coming off that W to Jonathan Pierce. And, you know, say what you want, but Jonathan Pierce is a dog. So, Dano, what do you got?
I'm glad you guys went because I don't really have too much of a breakdown of this fight. I'm just rooting for Cowboy. I love Cowboy. Although, like you said, I don't have trust in him, especially at minus 170. But I'm gonna be damn near rooting for him. One thing about Lauzon is that like he seems like in his past few fights he's kind of knockout or bust. He did get it over Jonathan Pierce, but 3 fights back he gets knocked out in the first round by Clay Guida. That's a tough one. Fight before that or after that he gets knocked out by Grutzmacher. And Cerrone's not really going out cold to these guys. He's just kind of shelling up and getting the shit beat out of him. So if he cannot do that, I hope he doesn't. He's a good dude. This probably will be one of their last fights. So Cowboy definitely wants to go out on top. So does Lauzon, but you know, Cowboy, he's just Cowboy, man. He's such a fan favorite. And if you're looking for someone cool to follow on Instagram, definitely follow Cowboy. He's got a super cool Instagram. But other than that, super biased for me. Let's go Cowboy. But I could definitely see the Lauzon pick.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Donald Cerrone, to give you a little bit of hope, could, you know, stuff some takedowns, keep him at distance, and play that constant kickboxing classic Cowboy game, and the crowd could just love it. You know, the key of this fight was going to be Joe Lauzon making it a dirty, heart-wrenching fight. Make Donald Cerrone fight. Let's get to the main event. Calvin Kattar, 23-5 versus Josh Emmett, 17-2. Man, this is going to be a scrap and a half, man. Calvin Kattar is a dog. Proved it again against Giga. Everyone was sleeping on him. Big dog right there. He's got the striking, man. Everyone sleeps on him because he lost to Holloway in that kind of fashion. But, you know, he is really, really elite in the stand-up, and he's going to have a little bit of a height and reach advantage. He's really good when he's got the reach and height advantage about touching his opponents, keeping bay. He's been training, getting better. He's trying to get his way back to the top. Josh Emmett, on the other hand, this guy's a warrior, man. He's on a streak. I mean, he's got some names. The thing about Josh Emmett is he had 2 fights scheduled against Arnold Allen, got canceled, against Edson Barboza, got canceled. Instead of those 2 opponents, he fought Shane Burgos and Dan Ige. So, I mean, that's just the gap right there. Like, those 2 fights getting canceled were really the 2 fights that I feel like I needed to see to really, like, justify if Josh Emmett was ready for a title shot. I guess a win here will justify it, but I just can't pick him in this fight. I feel like Calvin Kattar's got a better resume. I feel like he's already seen guys like Josh Emmett. I feel like he can take a punch from Josh Emmett, which is definitely a big concern for guys. Betting Calvin Kattar is that Josh Emmett's going to come in with that huge overhand right power. But I think Calvin Kattar keeps distance. I think he's tactical in this fight. I think this goes 5 rounds, and I think Calvin Kattar edges him out slightly in like 4 out of 5 rounds. So, yeah, give me Calvin Kattar 49-46. What do you got, Dano?
I love Calvin Kattar. Huge fan of New England Cartel, and which is his gym. And if you do a little MMA math, Emmett lost to Jeremy Stevens. Calvin Kattar knocked out Jeremy Stevens. You know, it's there. They both beat Ige. And one thing about Kattar is, like, when he faces opponents his same size or lower, he's got a lot of success. When he fights taller guys, Max Holloway lost decision, and to beat, which was a nutty fight. If anyone wants a good fight to watch, who's taller and Kattar, and he loses decision. So I feel like Emmett, smaller guy, front kicks would be liable with Kattar. He's got really good front kick, even though he's known for his boxing. And but one of the scary things about Emmett is like he hits like a damn truck. And he fought Michael Johnson recently, and Michael Johnson was winning that whole fight until one punch. And Emmett has that ability. He could potentially knock out Kattar. Someone who hits that hard really could knock anyone out, it seems like. But Kattar's got a chin on him. He's got spinning elbows, which I think are super sick. Hope we throw some of those this weekend. Give me Kattar.
Yeah, no, I'm having a geek revision, but I'll save it for after Goosey's take. Goosey, what do you got?
Yeah, so one of my most proud picks this year is going Kattar over Giga. Everyone was doubting him, and he went out there and got it done. I'm going to stick with the boy. I'm taking Kattar in this one. These guys are very similar, and it is going to be a scrap. They're both going to go in there, dog it out. They're both boxers with good wrestling, and I think Calvin Kattar's a little cleaner with the boxing. Emmett does have the pop. He's got good power, but we've seen Calvin Kattar fight power. He goes in there and he looks really good against it because he knows how to get in, get out of the way, really piece the opponent up, and then pick his shots where he's doing damage. Jeremy Stevens comes to mind. Dan Ige comes to mind. And he was able to style on both of them and really put on masterpieces. I'm not saying he's going to go out there and just dominate Josh Emmett, but I do think he goes out there and looks good and puts himself in title contention with this one. He did have a setback. He put that work in, and he came back with a good performance. I'm excited to see the jumps he's made going into this one. And it's always fun to see Calvin Kattar fight. So I'm looking forward to this one. I got a little Goosey's parlay for the week. It went out on Twitter, went on Instagram. Jasmine Jasudavicius, Kevin Holland, Calvin Kattar. You get those three. It's plus 178. It's a very good value bundle in my eyes. So that's what I'm going with.
One more thing about Kattar. Don't sleep on his wrestling. Kattar's a stud wrestler. I could see, big power punch from Emmett. I could see Kattar dropping down, killing some time on the ground, maybe trying to wear him out over 5 rounds. Kattar's really good everywhere, so don't sleep on the ground game.
Yeah, well, don't sleep on his chin, bucko. All right, but for real, though, he's going to have a 5-inch height advantage, and here's my geek revision. I could see Calvin Kattar kind of outclassing him, maybe losing one of the first 4 rounds, and a really studious and smart, intelligent corner in Team Alpha Male is going to tell Josh Emmett that he's kind of going to have to go for it in that final round, and I think that he might run into an elbow. So I think that there will be a little dabble on a Calvin Kattar round 5 finish. That's going to wrap it up for the picks. Tune into the Instagram, Twitter, Discord, you name it. We got it. Let's get it. Those are the breakdowns. We are signing out. Austin, let's have a night.